Okay, I have the pleasure of introducing our next panel, Driving Innovation in Services. And we have amazing panelists as well as moderator here for you. If I may have the slide, please. Yes. May I please welcome to the stage Tom Jasny, Dr. Sri Jagannath, Ms. Gretchen, and Ms. Rohita Joshi.
Good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've had a good show. For several years, the convergence of social, mobile, analytics, and cloud, or SMAC, has been a growing topic that's changing services, innovation, and use. SMAC combines social media to connect people, mobile platforms to improve access and usability, analytics for increased and improved information, and cloud for access and services delivery. SMAC leverages the major themes of TiEcon 2014. Mobile connected smart devices as well as the Internet of Things, although we heard yesterday it might be the Internet of Thing, the Internet of Things, or the Internet of Everything. We're not sure yet, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. The result of all this, coupled with dramatic device and data growth, is accelerated technology change, complexity combined with simplicity for users as this technology matures, and the personalization of IT services. We've got a panel today that has experience in consulting, IT services, and solutions, and we'll talk about the market, opportunities, technology, talent, and business models. I represent the WorldLink team. WorldLink has been focused in solutions, software, and technical staffing, but we've really decided to focus on the human talent element of innovation to address these new market forces. And part of what we're doing is using web, mobile, and cloud to better connect great candidates with career opportunities. We call this inspired intellect, and it is a combination of new technology and innovation and process and technology that we apply to the talent acquisition market. Before we introduce the panel, just a couple of other comments on the market. First, let's talk about the nature of work. Work is increasingly project-based and virtual. In 2020, half the U.S. workforce will be contingent workers. That's up from 16% today. And over 90% of today's contingent workers telecommute. So those are some pretty big changes in the workforce. While skilled labor is increasingly international, it's also estimated that up to 1/3 of jobs lost to offshoring may be returning to the U.S. over the same period of time. Another opportunity for the people in the room. What's happening in IT? The legacy architectures are increasingly obsolete. On the other hand, 3/4 of the world's largest economies indicate IT jobs are among the most difficult to fill right now. And almost 80% of IT leaders say they're rarely or only sometimes made aware of key organization initiatives. If they're being left out of some of this innovation, that's an opportunity for everyone in this room to help them. In addition, less than half of IT leaders have assessed their future workforce needs in spite of all this dramatic technology change going on around them. Mobile applications now drive content and services to consumers and to business users, yet most enterprise IT organizations lack the development language and process expertise to scale development in support of these business needs. And don't forget about security. Security must expand from mobile devices and premise infrastructure to include the cloud and social solutions. 82% of companies claim they're using encryption protection today, but less than 1/3 have remote control and administration capabilities. If you joined some of the sessions yesterday, it is simply an assumption for industrial IoT that security and reliability are there 100% of the time. Finally, as highlighted by all of the keynotes I visited yesterday, including Qualcomm and IBM, solution and supply ecosystems now surround all the largest companies. that increases opportunities, I think, for the people in this room. So before we get into some Q&A with the panel, I'd like to go down the line. Please introduce yourself and your company briefly.
Hi, my name is Rohita, and I'm a CEO and founder of Diligent Technology. We're a next-generation technology services company based out in the Bay Area.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gretchen Kaufman. I'm a vice president at Hitachi Consulting. We deliver consulting services all over the world. We're about 650 million in size. We are one of about 900 subsidiaries of Hitachi Limited, which is a $100 billion organization. And you guys probably know all about Hitachi in terms of, all the products as well as solutions. So we're just one arm of Hitachi Global that provides consulting services. We're very focused on cloud technologies, and we're excited to kind of push forward into the Internet of Things in terms of services solutions. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sri Jagannathan. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of Persistent Systems. We are a mid-tier company, about 8,000 people, based out of Pune, India. Prior to Persistent, I was head of technology strategy and global engineering for Intuit.
Shri, why don't we start with you?
Okay.
So my first question, we've discussed your experience creating solutions for your customers. And you use the term that this has led your company to innovate beyond services. Tell us a little bit more about how you are blending services and solutions.
Great. For a while now, and most of my life I've been on the other side of the table, not providing services, but using them. And in this context, it's very clear that the services industry is woefully lacking in innovation. Innovation is a must, and really we have to innovate or we die. And the reason for that is multifold. We are entering an era where there's a lot of technology at play, there are a lot of things to be done, and a service industry which does not innovate, which does not bring solutions to market faster, which does not have the aggression associated with speed of implementation. For instance, at Intuit, when I was there, I would have an expectation that a services project would require less people every year, but that never used to happen. Right? The number of people always seems to increase. The budget is always required as more. It's a bizarre thing in an industry where automation is rushing to the fore that somehow services costs continue to increase. And the problem which is going to arise is automation is going to kill that. Right? Increasingly, a lot of software is about self-building blocks, not human-based programming. In order to prevent that, we need innovation. And how does innovation come about? Luckily, in the service industry, we have a phenomenal opportunity to understand the problems in the industry with every client that we see. And as a consequence, we are in a position to bring that perspective to every one of our consulting engagements. So I talk to my team about the value pyramid. I talk to them saying services at the bottom of the pyramid. Above services are tools, solutions, products, prototyping, design, strategy, and vision. And you have to be able to approach every client with that kind of clarity that I bring the experience of 100 customers to you, and that's why I, as a service person, am relevant to you. I bring innovation to the table, not manpower. If it's manpower, the services industry is relegated to cost cutting, and that would be a disaster.
Okay. Gretchen, as you mentioned, Hitachi is very focused on IoT. Where do you see some of the best opportunities and in which industries?
Sure. So, I think IoT is a fascinating market and opportunity for all of us from a services perspective, but especially for entrepreneurs, given it is so rapidly changing. I think, first and foremost, from my perspective, social innovation is critical. Just in terms of, natural resource conservation, sustainability, transportation networks, and that's where Hitachi is really focused historically and will continue to focus in terms of building solutions that will improve our environment in the world. So beyond social innovation, there's also integration. I think is going to be incredibly important for entrepreneurs and for large services providers. The ability to integrate all this massive amounts of data. Analytics, like we talked about in the last panel, predictive analytics are also going to be critical. And then I think really, fundamentally, just the management of data, data security, data networking, data storage is going to be pivotal in terms of being able to manage the IoT environment. And I think that's really where the entrepreneurs, as well as the larger services firms, are really going to focus going forward.
Okay. Rita, your company started as IT staffing services. Tell me about how your business focus has shifted to address the new market opportunities.
Sure. So we've been in business for several years, and over the years we saw, several technology waves. And as our customers approached us for resources, we saw common trends, common needs, and a common set of problems that the customers were trying to resolve. Today, the customers are looking for shorter implementation cycles. They're looking for low risk. They're looking for more agility, and they're also trying to link the projects with outcome. So the new services that we're providing are addressing those customer needs. And also, we're trying to stay ahead of the market by investing in human capital to make sure that we're able to service the customers and the new services that we have.
Okay. Another one for you. You've talked about solving your customers' needs. Mm-hmm. And you've talked about combining CRM and ERP solutions. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So the customer is a large medical device company, and we resolved this problem for their service organization, which is over $1 billion in revenue. And so what we did was, we tried to find a technical solution for the customer which increased and helped in their customer satisfaction score. And the technical solution that we found was a good fit which worked very well on the SAP and the Salesforce platform.
Gretchen, what do you see? You have a large customer base that includes major service providers. What do you see as the big opportunities for them?
Yeah, I think the most important, relative to IoT, the most important opportunity for all of us, frankly, is to be able to, connect sort of the end-to-end solution, starting with the products, including the platforms and the cloud solutions, and ultimately all the applications from a business perspective. And I think all those lines are going to start being blurred and continue to be blurred in terms of how our solution providers deliver solutions for our clients and our clients' customers. So it's going to be the full ecosystem, I think, from the beginning to end. Full end-to-end solution is where I think we're going to be able to deliver the most value from an entrepreneurial perspective as well as a consulting firm perspective. Being able to understand how the products can integrate with the platforms and then ultimately deliver the solutions on the front end.
Okay. Shuri, next one's for you. How has software changed, and how are you using it differently today?
Beautiful. I think we are upon a wonderful time in the technology evolution of things, where any company can be truly big even though they are truly small. And that comes from the fact that there is enormous leverage now that's available. As they say on the internet, no one knows that I'm a dog, right? You can get the best infrastructure. On the same infrastructure that Macy's rides, you can be a small, tiny company sitting on Amazon selling products, right? You could have the same access to people developing products for you as anyone else. You can have the same level of services through services that you outsource, if you will, through a SaaS-based provider, that you can look as if you're a big company in terms of customer service, delivery support, customer remediation, etc. Therefore, every enterprise has the opportunity to reinvent itself. So we have a philosophy around this, and we have written a white paper and several facets around that particular proposition. And if you go to peas.persistent.com, you'll see what we have done, and feel free to take it, revise it, use it, etc. What we are doing there is we are suggesting that every enterprise needs to create its own platform that don't depend on other people's platforms. Here's a huge opportunity to define what you are, who you are, and therefore seize the maximum benefits of all the technology that's pouring out literally every week. You can be the most advanced company on earth, even though you are poorly funded, you are in Bulgaria or India or wherever, right? So with that proposition, it's not about consumption of software. We have all lived through implementation of Oracle, SAP, you name it. We are now upon a new era where we say every company can and should have its own platform, and when you do, you will be most empowered to change and flex the way your business needs to, rather than constraints that are imposed to you by other people's platforms.
Do you see any types of enterprises that are embracing this platform approach?
I think everyone is. Some are faster than others. There is obviously a huge legacy issue associated with how do you, if you will, liberate enterprise assets. If you look at enterprise software, basically functionality was tied tightly around, if you will, a monolithic structure in which you had relatively lightweight functional access. What's happening now is the liberation of all that functional access. Now you have the ability to take a few APIs from an Oracle Financial, mix it up with SharePoint, access Google Maps, and before you know it, you have a delivery solution that's yours, given to a driver, a truck driver, on a little device that he or she can carry. Suddenly you've empowered someone tremendously by using prior legacy assets, but using next generation technology. So I would say there is no company on earth we should say, I'm satisfied with the status quo. I'm going to live with an ERP solution, and that's how the world ought to look. Okay. Everyone has got to change in their own best interest.
Okay. And Gretchen, next to you, Hitachi talks about converting IoT into EOT for enterprise of things, so we're staying on the enterprise theme. What are the key elements of an EOT solution to Hitachi?
So I think Hitachi is very well positioned to provide kind of the full gamut of solutions for our clients. And again, I think it's providing the full gamut of solutions from the front end to the back end. So the enterprise of things is actually delivering the solution of the Internet of Things. So this gets back to your sort of the confusion around Internet of Things. Is it Internet of Thing? Is it enterprise of things? Is it enterprise of everything? So the issue is that we're trying to provide solutions for the Internet of Things. All this different disparate data that's out in the world, provide solutions to actually meld that all together and enable it for our customers to be able to get access to it. So that's really the methodology that we're trying to employ for our customers. And that's really where we think, you know, the big bet is going to be placed going forward, certainly around social innovation.
Do you see early adopters emerging, and in what areas?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we see early adopters every day. I mean, Sanjay talked about before, kind of the smart car. We see, you know, Silver Spring Networks in you know, the market. They do enable smart technologies, smart grid. Solar energy, anything around natural resources. I mean, I think there are lots of different companies, both small and large, that are, you know, attempting to enable these types of technologies in the market, and it's really going to change the way we do business.
Okay. Speaking of these changes, Rohita, what new skills do you see required as the market changes?
I would say that, you know, companies are looking for knowledge workers. You know, they're looking for people who are able to work on the newer technologies. So basically what we are trying to do is we are looking at people, and we're investing in them, and we're training them on the newer technologies. So, you know, it's more like cross-pollination is what is required in different people. So, you know, people who are willing to work on newer technologies adopt themselves into the newer technologies.
Okay. Follow-on question, and we'll go down the line on this one. Are you seeing any skill gaps that need to be addressed?
Yes, I mean, you know, with the newer technologies, there is always you know, a gap in the demand and supply. You know, we're seeing newer technologies like NetSuite. We're working on a project right now, and you know, we're seeing the challenges and the pain points where it is really difficult to find those resources. And that is why, you know, it's important to cultivate those skill sets within your organization and make sure that, you know, you're training the people internally in the newer skill sets that we're working on.
Gretchen, same question for you.
Sure.
Where do you see the skills gaps?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of gaps, and I think that that's actually the best answer for our entrepreneurs in the audience. They're really going to have an opportunity to kind of pick a niche area of, you know, the IoT solutions and provide, you know, business value. So I think, you know, entrepreneurs are able to be actually more nimble than kind of the larger services companies, and so we're trying to catch up as best we can, but really it's the entrepreneur that's going to kind of drive, I think, this changing business. And they have the best opportunity to kind of glean these skills early and often and provide them, to our customers, and also provide services for us to customers.
Okay. Shri, skill gaps from your perspective?
There are two ways to look at this. One is a demand issue, and the second is a supply issue. On the demand side, can we get people to get trained on the latest technology needed in order to service requirements? The answer is yes. This is just a matter of ensuring that you pay more. The more people want to get trained on a particular aspect of technology, and you'll get the resources, even though there might be a time gap to resolution of that. A more troubling issue is actually the supply issue. We have created an industry of enormous depth and breadth. So the number of people in this industry is very large. And what happens now, and this is what I worry about, is with this very large industry, the people in the industry do not train themselves fast enough. Yes, newcomers can understand newer technologies, but people who are in the industry do not aggressively learn fast. As a consequence, they are sitting on a trailing set of skills, which are going to become obsolete. So this is an industry where either you are young in your technology age, and therefore you continue to surf the leading edge of need, or obsolescence is staring you around the corner at a time when things are becoming more and more automated. So it used to be that 2 years back, creating a mobile app was a big thing, right? People used to say, oh, I can create stuff on Android or iOS. That's a leading edge skill. Nowadays, not. Many cases, you can actually do mobile apps in a matter of hours, sometimes in a matter of minutes. So now, if you say, I know Objective-C, that might no longer be enough, right? So the worry I have is, in a very large industry, the supply side situation of being at the edge of learning is actually very poor. And so we are going to have, I believe, a lot of people with skills which are obsolete, and that worries me.
Are there any intersection points between experience and new skill requirements that the audience might want to consider?
There is. It's not to say that experience is not valid, and experience in understanding technology stacks, legacy integration issues, being able to, if you will, create enterprise mashups, all those are important, but they don't substitute sufficiently for the need to understand new skills.
One other point on that, Tom.
Okay.
I think it's going to be harder and harder to find the right skills when you actually need those skills, and that I think, Rohita, you can probably comment on that. I mean, it's not going to be a matter of, putting, a request out for an individual who has Oracle skills or SAP skills or, database skills. It's going to be something much more esoteric. So how do you guys sort of address that?
So what we're
Take that.
No,
from you,
great.
Tom.
That's great.
Absolutely. So what we're trying to do is, if we have the new skill sets which are required, we're trying to stay ahead of technology. And what we do is, we look at the market trends, we see the new technologies which are coming in, and we already have a team of people that we are training in the newer technologies. So maybe that answers your question.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
So being out in the forefront, basically.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Gretchen, one of the things I mentioned was ecosystem. Seems to be more and more prevalent, the idea that no one can do everything themselves.
Yeah.
First, what does Hitachi look for in partners?
Yeah, I think the idea of being able to be, all things to all people is a little absurd, and it gets to be even more absurd in this type of environment where there's so many skills needed, so much data required, a lot of analytics needed. So you're going to need to partner a lot with, some of the smaller vendors that are more niche focused. So I think it's going to be really important to work with partners who are nimble, who are responsive, who have, a lot of credibility in the market, even though it may be a very small market, given it's not sort of well known in the industry. So it's going to be really important to work with partners that we can, get access to quickly, build, contracts that are very clear, that we sort of know where the services end for the Hitachi organization and where they end for the individual partner organization. And again, this can include, energy, transportation, business intelligence services, data storage, anything. It could be any type of services provider that we're going to need to partner with to deliver these solutions. So again, I think from an overall perspective, Hitachi Consulting and Hitachi Global can provide sort of this end-to-end vision, but there's no way to be able to deliver all these different sort of one-off niche solutions, and we're going to need a lot of partners in the ecosystem to do that.
Are there any particular areas that you would highlight that you're working with partners in today?
Energy is really big in the energy space. Transportation, we talked about earlier. Sustainability is really big. Anything around natural resources, water conservation. Anything that's going to be able to provide social innovation, anything around smart cities, smart grid technologies. We're very focused on those in terms of partners.
Okay. Any comments from the other panelists on partner activities or opportunities?
Sure. So let's talk about the Internet of Things for a minute. It's easy to get to the things part of that, right? There are lots of sensors, devices, all those are becoming atomically cheaper and are going to become trivial in terms of acquisition. And therefore, you're going to have a lot of things that come into play. What's actually more interesting in that Internet of Things is how does the enterprise react to that? And that's a non-trivial question. Simple example, suppose let's say we are to instrument an airplane, and we say, let the airplane stream data continuously. Chances are you're going to have easily well over a terabyte of data that the plane streams every day, on every flight, right? That amount of data capture and resolution of that data is a non-trivial thing. Imagine now that every piece of equipment on a factory floor is instrumented. How does the enterprise react to that? What will you do with that information? So enterprise transformation in the age of Internet of Things is enormously complicated. And I think as a service industry, what we have the opportunity to do is to help the CIOs, the CMOs, the CTOs, and the CEOs to understand what is possible, rather than just be in a position of, let me do the task that you give me, rather to be able to say at a time of change that here are things that are possible. And being able to play out the future for them is a service that we can do for our clients.
One of the persistent themes at Persistent has been analytics. Tell us a little bit about how you are using analytics in your business today, in particular for your customers.
Right. I think there are two parts to this analytics game. One is a purely technology aspect of it. How do you look at big data? How do you gather it? How do you transform it? How do you utilize it? What's the right way to scale it? So obviously in big data, you got volume, velocity, and variety. So how do you deal with all these things? So in Persistent, we have done a lot of work associated with big data. We have been working on the Hadoop stack for quite a while. We have contributed into the open source environment for that. We have created software for Informatica, for Microsoft, and Yahoo, and so on. We are IBM's biggest big partner for Big Insights, and so on. The other part of it, which is actually Big Insights, or rather analytics as an applied environment, in order to be able to extract the right information, I think that is a little bit more complicated. And we have done some good work in bioinformatics, for medical data analysis, those kinds of things. But I think we are still in the early stages of how do you use big data in vertical environments. And I think that story is still being built out.
Rohita, we're in a similar business. Do you see any big data that's prevalent in staffing and talent today? And I ask the question partly because I've had multiple partners tell me, you have data, you don't have big data. And it's very early, at least in the talent business. On the other hand, there are many opportunities as you get into the fit between individuals and opportunities that lend themselves to big data. But are you seeing anything that's really being used today?
Yes, we are seeing a lot of opportunities on the big data side. And as you said, the challenge remains about being able to cope up with the demand with the supply. We have customers demanding for various skill sets which are required to do several projects. And then we're working really hard in training our talent and finding the talent who are willing to work on the newer technologies.
Okay. Gretchen, any comments on big data from Hitachi?
Yeah, I mean, big data is again, a little bit of an esoteric term, I think, per your point, Tom, but we're definitely focused on big data. And again, it's just sort of enabling our customers to be able to manage this massive set of data that they have based on the enterprise of things, the Internet of Things. Given all this data, we need to have a way for them to be able to sort of harness that data and be able to leverage it in such a way that you can actually report on it and so that it's meaningful.
Okay. Shri, I've got a last question for you because we're close on time. You've won some recent industry awards that include words like Dream Employer, Innovation and Practices, Innovative HR Practices specifically. Can you tell us a little bit about the innovation that's been associated with these awards?
So, as I had noted before, innovation is key to the success of any services company. And at Persistent, our tagline says partners in innovation. So we have put a lot of effort through HR on how to make that happen. The question we ask our employees is, are you trying to do what you can be? And what is it that we can do to make that happen? So to that extent, we have extensive training programs, which I'm sure others have as well. We also have created an innovation center internally. So we talk about how do you press your own personal innovation button within you, which makes you innovative. We believe that every employee can be innovative. The only question is, how do you get that a magical start to your own life in terms of becoming more innovative? So we have created something called PACE, Persistent Apps Challenge for Employees, where we say, if you create a mobile app and it doesn't have to do with Persistent's business, you can, and it can be about your child's soccer play or a game that you like to create. You put it up on any of the recognized app stores, and we'll give you a couple $1,000. And if you get some traction, we will give you more money. And the idea is, learn to play, right? And when work is play, then play becomes work. So that's a culture that we try to encourage. We also have an innovation center for employees where we have all the latest gadgets and all the apps that you can imagine so that they can have fun when they are at work while learning new technology and aspiring to do things that people in distant lands have done, which gives them recognition. We have also encouraged our employees to do different things in their life, and we have also started a venture fund internally that gives them a new dimension. So part of the venture fund allows us to invest in companies which are outside the Persistent umbrella, but we also look to invest in ex-Persistent employees who start companies, so a part of entrepreneurship is encouraged as well. So we are trying a few things to make our entire workforce far more interested in what they do and to enjoy the wonderful technology world that we all live in.
Seems to be getting recognized. I'd like to thank the panel for their comments and encourage you to meet us outside the room immediately after this so that we can get to the next panel. So if you have questions, meet you in the hallway. Thank you very much.